Okay, so running a small business,
Mhm.
you're always hustling to make things work right.
Always.
And marketing can feel like just a whole other thing,
It does,
You
Jeff.
want you want them now, but getting them in the door, it's like the hardest part.
Right.
So what if I told you there's a way to think about marketing that takes a little bit of that pressure off?
I'm listening.
All right, so it's called the 95.5 rule, and it might change your whole game plan, honestly.
Okay, the 95.5 rule. So that's a powerful concept. And, it's actually backed by the Ehrenberg Bass Institute, which are like, big names in marketing research.
Okay.
So think of it this way. Imagine you've got 100 people who could be your customers.
Okay.
Only about 5 of them are ready to buy right now. The other 95,
hmm
they're not thinking about your product or service at this very moment.
So we're talking about those folks who might need what you offer like down the line, but aren't actively searching right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to get caught up in just chasing those immediate sales, right? Like you need to make payroll.
Right. But what about the potential of that larger group?
Yeah.
That's where building your brand comes in. It's like laying the groundwork so that you can have success in the future.
Okay. I'm intrigued. So how does this whole brand building thing like work with the 95.5 rule?
Okay. So think about it like this. You're not just trying to, sell people something today. You're trying to make an impression.
Okay.
So when they are ready to buy, maybe months or even years down the road, your business is the one they remember.
Oh, so it's less about like the hard sell in their face and more about becoming like a familiar name, a face, something they trust.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
It's about planting seeds. So let's say, for example, you're a plumber.
Okay.
You might not be able to convince somebody to replace their pipes today.
Right.
But if you offer like helpful tips online about preventing leaks or share, interesting facts about plumbing systems.
People start to see you as, not just a plumber. You become like a source of information, someone they can rely on.
Exactly. And then when that pipe finally bursts.
Guess who they're going to call?
Right.
You've already built that trust, that connection, even if it wasn't directly related to a sale, at the time.
So we're not throwing out the idea of making sales today, but we're adding this whole other layer of connecting with people who could be customers tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's where things get really exciting because it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for how you approach your marketing.
I like it. I like it. So we're planting these seeds with the 95%, but how do we actually do that? What does that actually look like, in real life for a small business owner?
Yeah.
Someone who's probably like already juggling a million things.
Exactly. And it's not about adding like a ton of extra work on your plate. It's really about small, consistent efforts that, build up over time.
Okay. So it's about going where the 95% are
Yeah.
and building relationships in a genuine way.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's not about being pushy. It's about, showing up authentically and becoming a trusted resource. It's about that long game we talked about.
Okay, so we're making these videos, we're writing articles, we're chatting in forums,
Yeah.
all great stuff. But this sounds like it takes time,
Uh-huh.
a lot of time.
It does. And that's why, consistency is key.
Okay.
You don't have to do everything at once,
Yeah.
Start small, pick like one or two things that you can commit to and do those regularly. Even sharing, one helpful tip on social media each week can make a difference over time.
So I'm starting to see how this all like fits together, but there's still this nagging question in my mind.
Sure.
We're focused on the 95% who might not buy for a while.
Yeah.
What about the 5% who are ready to buy right now? We can't forget about them.
You're absolutely right. Balancing those short-term needs with your long-term goals is so crucial.
Right.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay. So we've got this long game going with the 95%.
Yeah.
But we also need to make sure business is like, thriving right now.
Yeah.
How do we make sure we're kind of looking after both? The 5% and the 95%.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? It's like trying to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. It's totally doable.
Okay.
You just need a balanced approach.
So it's like having two marketing plans running side by side.
Yeah.
One for those ready to buy customers and another for the ones that we're, nurturing over time.
Exactly. Think of it like you've got a garden.
Yeah.
You're planting seeds for the future. That's your 95% strategy. But you've also got some plants that are ready to harvest right now. That's your 5%.
I like that.
Right.
Okay, the garden analogy I like. It's making things clear.
Good.
So for those ready to harvest customers, like, what are we actually doing?
This is where you might use like more direct approaches,
Okay.
things like targeted ads online or, special promotions,
Mm.
or even reaching out to potential customers directly.
Hmm.
So you're focused on getting those quick wins, those immediate sales that keep, your business moving.
So while we're tending to our garden, we're also like picking the ripe fruit and, enjoying what we've worked for.
Exactly. But here's the key. You can't just keep picking the fruit and expect your garden to keep producing.
Right.
You need to keep planting those seeds, nurturing those relationships with the 95%,
Yeah.
so that you have a steady supply of customers in the future.
So it's like this constant cycle.
Yeah,
We're reaping the rewards today while investing in tomorrow's harvest.
exactly.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this works, but honestly, it still feels a bit overwhelming.
Sure.
Where does a small business owner even begin?
Start small.
Okay.
Pick one or two things from each garden to focus on.
Right.
So maybe you run a limited time offer to attract immediate customers while also starting like a weekly blog post to share your expertise and build your brand.
So baby steps.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this huge, complicated, like, overhaul of everything we're already doing.
Nope. And remember, it's okay to experiment and adjust as you go. What works for one business might not work for another.
Right.
Pay attention to what your customers respond to, look at the numbers, and don't be afraid to, tweak your approach as you learn.
So it's not about finding the one perfect solution. It's about constantly, learning and improving.
Absolutely. The beauty of marketing is that it's always evolving. As long as you're willing to adapt, learn, and keep that 95.5 rule in mind, you'll be well on your way to building a thriving business.
This has been a real eye-opener.
Right.
I think a lot of small business owners are going to find this 95.5 rule really helpful. It's a whole new way to think about marketing. So thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure. Remember, building a strong brand takes time and consistency. So keep planting those seeds, nurture those relationships, and watch your business blossom.
And to all you amazing listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought. What's one small step you can take today to start connecting with those future customers? Until next time, happy marketing.